Yes, I will.
Again, good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us for our general membership meeting for March 2022. I should begin by thanking Gary Giscombe for covering in my absence for our February meeting. And it is good to see you all. We'll say more about our meeting plans in my report, but let's begin with Lift Every Voice and Say. Marian's going to pull that up for us. There we go. Thanks, Marian.
Okay.
If you want to eat healthy and feel your best, you gotta try cassava. Cassava is the world's healthiest.
Thanks, Marianne. Well, you get us back to full view. Before we introduce our moment in history speaker, let me draw your attention to our minutes that were attached to the meeting notice, and those minutes, subject to any corrections or additions, will be accepted. Thanks, Fred White, for those, and I'll turn it over to Gary Giscombe and our moment in history speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Look like we're going to genealogy again this month. Last month we had Joe Hurt talk about his family. Former National Urban League CEO Hugh Price is a descendant from Boston's celebrated fugitive slave George Latimer and his son Louis Latimer on his mother's side of the family. Price was born November 22nd, 1941 in Washington, D.C., and grew up around the campus of Howard University, where his father, Dr. Klein Price, practiced medicine. He is a graduate from Amherst College, and in the summer of 1963, he was on a marshal for the March on Washington. He finished Yale University Law School in 1966, and in the process, offered low-income legal services to the Black Coalition in New Haven, Connecticut, later to become its first executive director. You joined Cogan Holt and Associates in 1970 to evaluate programs for the Ford Foundation and worked in community development. By 1976, he was Human Resource Commissioner for the city of New Haven. In 1978, he moved his family to New York to take on a position with the New York Times editorial board. Leaving in 1982, he became Senior Vice President for WNET Channel 13. Subsequently, he moved on to the Rockefeller Foundation's Vice President of Philanthropy in 1988. There, he instituted the National Guard Youth Challenge and the Coalition of Community Foundations for Youth. As CEO for the National Urban League, Price established the Institute for Opportunity and Equality. He's been a director for the Metropolitan Life Sears. He's a member of the Corporate Governance Committee for New York 9X Corporation. He's currently senior advisor and co-chair of the nonprofit and philanthropic practice group for the law firm of Piper and Rudnick. He is vice chair of the Louis Latimer House Museum. Price has authored a number of books, one being Getting Your Child the Best Education Possible, another, Destination, the American Dream.
As dollars for endowment. I am tremendously excited to announce that we are now in a position to establish a endowment, in fact, at the Community Foundation here in Sarasota. And I'm going to thank again the Giscombes, Gary and Bernice, as well as Jean and Linda Crump, who made very generous gifts over the last week to allow us to begin that process. Fred White, myself, and Gary had conversations with Laura Spencer at the Community Foundation. We have paperwork in place to put that endowment in place, and it will take a couple of forms, a true endowment and what they call a quasi endowment that will give us some flexibility. You'll hear more about that obviously in detail. The board will look at this in detail at our April meeting. I just wanted to thank again the Giscombes and the Crumps for their generous gift, and to let you all know Manasota Asala is on the verge of creating a long sought goal of establishing an endowment for our ongoing operations, scholarships, and other needs. So That's, I think, all that I have for my report today. If there are no questions, I will hand this over to Alan Morton, our treasurer. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Marion,
Morning,
can you
Al.
put up the slides for my presentation? The first one is the treasurer's report.
Marion, I think I've got that if you don't.
I think Marion's muted.
Maybe she does have it. Excellent.
Okay, I just want to explain the reason that we have two reports from the treasurer this month. The first report, called the treasurer's report, details how we spend our money, where the money comes from, and our limitations on spending. Start at the top of the sheet. The first couple of items, NCF Project 360 plans, scholarships, and film are all donated, all committed funds. These funds are only spent under special circumstances and based on the mission of each one of those projects. So the NCF project, for example, was only spent on an intern that we have at New College of Florida. The 360 plans that we know about, that we're going to hear more about later on today, have not been spent, and that money that we have is the amount that has been accumulated since the beginning of the program. Scholarship program, looking at the beginning amount of $45,000, we spent $4,000 last month. We have $41,000 left. We'll hear more about what's happening there. And the film project we've talked about before, all of these monies cannot be spent without authorization or without the involvement of the board and the people managing these funds. Gets down to the bottom part of the report, general checking. These are uncommitted funds used for operational purposes. Most of the money there comes from dues. Dues contribute an average of $12,000 and $15,000 a year. Other funds in that particular account come from prior unspent monies and small profits from things such as a Christmas banquet that we had a couple years ago. If you go to the middle column, that middle amount minus 1553 corresponds to the profit and loss statement, which is the next slide that we're going to talk about. But those amounts correspond to the spending that we have in the categories that we talked about, both the committed and the uncommitted funds. So for example, we spent money for the New College of Florida project. The internship program is now over. We can talk about that later. We have 360 funds that are in there that will continue to accumulate and will become part of the endowment that David just talked about. And we spent money on two students, $4,000 for the month of February. The remaining amount at the bottom is just the dues, offset by some minor expenditures. And again, that brings us to the ending balance for the time period ending 3/4 of 115,065. The loss there corresponds to the change in our bank account. Our bank account is still a very healthy amount of 115,065. Can we look briefly at the profit and loss statement, which is the next slide?
Give me 1 second. I have to bring it up.
That's good.
Can we remind everybody to mute? We're hearing some noise in the background, except Alan. Please mute if you can. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. So I mentioned that amount of 1553 corresponds to the middle column on the first report. This report just shows in more detail what actually happened and where that number came from. We only have to look at a few numbers to explain what happened during the past month. We have 1950, which is the change in the restricted funds of 360 fund that we talked about. We've already mentioned the dues of 2545. So the revenue is explained largely by those two items. The expenditures are explained by four basic items. 464 is our advance payment on the storage unit. 600 is our payment for the bus trip to the Hermitage. NCF accounts for 1040, the New College project. And the last and the biggest amount under expenditures of 4,000, the two students that we funded for the month of February. That amount of 1552.75 corresponds exactly to the 1553 in the middle column that explains the bank balances. So again, our reports have the purpose of showing you where the funds came from, how the funds are actually segregated between committed and uncommitted funds, and how all of those financial transactions corresponds to our profit and loss statement. And that completes my report. David, I think you're muted.
I did tell everybody to mute themselves, didn't I?
Yeah, and you include yourself too.
Thanks, Alan. Rita, good morning, could we have your membership report? I think I saw Rita on here this morning.
I am.
Morning, Rita.
Good morning, everyone. So I will report that we have 368 members at this time. This past week, I've gotten some notifications that some of our members have received some emails from National. I just wanted to reassure everyone that those emails are automatically generated emails, and if they don't pertain to you, you can just ignore them. I know that one of them asked our dual members to submit information for their partners, but that information has already been submitted to National. So you don't have to respond to that. Just wanted to reassure that you don't have to respond to those emails. Also, if you, for our new members who are joining the branch, we want to just encourage them to go ahead on and join at the local level. When you join at the national level, it's kind of cumbersome, and we have to try to get you into our local branch. So when you join at the national level, you're just a member of the national, not of the local branch. So we want all of our members to be with us here locally. If there are any changes at all to any of your information, please submit it locally again. Do not submit it at the national level. We need to have that information locally. So I don't have anything else. I don't have any action items. Are there any questions?
Rita, I don't think so.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Rita. And I'll highlight Rita's point that you're always going to see communications from National that emphasize joining ASALH. That does not mean that you're not a properly enrolled member. So don't be misled by that. Thanks, Rita. Marion, our corresponding secretary's report, please. Marion, that background noise might be coming. There we go. There we go.
Are you hearing background noise?
Yes, but go ahead and proceed. There's some rattle in the background.
Okay, I wanted to share with you we sent out a lot of email to you, and I wanted to share the results from it. We're doing better than average. Our average open rate is 56%, and the most opened emails over the last 6 months was joyful reception, arrive early to pick up your tickets, and welcome to new and renewing members. Your average click rate has been 5%. Normal click rates are 1 to 2%. And our top performers were the passing of a good man, Henry Blyton, 24% click rate, San Gilliam exhibition video, and What's the Real Story of Newtown. The best time for us to send you emails seems to be Tuesdays at 3 p.m. And you mostly open your emails on mobile devices. And we grew our contact list by 25%, and that was 90 more people than we did a year ago. So I wanted to share that with you because you're performing better than normal as far as email is concerned. I also wanted to share with you on our website, we have put our giving channel, Giving Challenge. Every year, the Community Foundation gives us 1 day or 24 hours to give. And that giving challenge allows us to raise funds And I sent out an email to you on Friday, alerting you that the Giving Challenge was beginning. And I thought I would ask and answer some questions that you may have about the Giving Challenge, especially to people who are new to Sarasota region. What is the Giving Challenge? The Giving Challenge is an online giving event that provides nonprofits the opportunity to gain exposure to and start relationships with new donors. It's a process by which the Community Foundation provides a website where for 24 hours, which will start April 26th at 12 o'clock p.m. through Wednesday 27th at 11:59 a.m., you can go on, click on the site, and give. You can search for Minnesota Asala and give up to whatever amount you want, but up to $100 is matched. Will my donation be matched? To strengthen giving during the 2020 Giving Challenge, the Patterson Foundation will provide a one-to-one match for all unique donations up to $100 per donor. The next question usually comes, well, if I give multiple donations, will they be matched? A donor is defined as an individual. Individuals who are reimbursed by any funding source for making donations are ineligible for matching. What that means is, yes, each donation will be matched as long as it's from a different household with a different credit card. So it's a little tricky on how it can be given. So I say, let's not try to game the system. Let's just give. And we have our own site. We have our own video from India White, who was our best story. And I've submitted that story as another gift that we can get from the foundation. It's a story that was, I thought, gut-wrenching because she was homeless and she received a scholarship from Asala, and she's now a doctor. She completed her doctorate degree, and she was so grateful to us. Gary brought her in, I believe it was September, October timeframe, to speak to us about our giving, our donation, our scholarship that we gave her started her on her career. Another question is, who can donate? Anyone with a credit card and access to the internet. Can I make donations via a mobile device? Yes, simply visit www.givingchallenge.org. Is there a minimum amount? $25 is the minimum. Are there fees involved? There are no fees for nonprofit organizations to participate. As a donor, can I receive a benefit for giving? There are no exchange for goods, services, membership dues, tickets, or other services or benefits. What you will receive is a letter for your tax donation, and that's it. If you go to our homepage on Asala, you can see the Giving Challenge. I have a countdown clock on the homepage. Just scroll down a little bit. It's there to remind you, and I'll continue to send you one email a week to remind you to go to the Giving Challenge. And to our institutional members, we're asking each institutional member to give $500. You go to the Giving Challenge now, and you can sign up and you'll get your own reminders. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Marion. You might also remind everyone that you can access your members only directory now and print it out as I have, and it's proven very helpful. So
yes.
Thanks, Marion. Very good. Fred White, our fundraising committee.
Good morning, everybody. First, I want to thank Marion for her work on the Giving Challenge. She's done yo person's work on that, and I look forward to April 26th, because that would have been my sister's 70th birthday. So April 26th is very important to me, so I have to remember that. With respect to the Project 360 and the general donations, those numbers are reflected in Alan's treasurer's report. By April, with our giving challenge money and our other 360 money and other donations, we'll be able to determine, the board will be able to determine how much of our scholarship funds we're actually going to give out through the scholarship committee. And Harriet will probably have some comments about that. Our members and friends continue to use our website to make scholarship donations or to write checks, including the use of their RMDs, which I have done and Gary and a few other folks have done. As to the public relations aspect of our scholarship program, I have been in conversation with Ron Mason on the question of expanding the slide presentation he presented to us a meeting or two ago and putting that on our website to show our successes or the successes of our scholarship recipients. Everyone knows the Randy Rankin event has been canceled for this spring, but good news, I've been in conversation with Donald Reeves, one of our members, and he has in turn been in contact with Roland Thornton. Roland and Linda Thornton, you may recall, did a lot of the work with the Howard tournament this past November. So we're looking into revitalizing the Randy Rankin event late this year or sometime in 2023. If that is successful, and in combination with our 360 funds, our general scholarship funds, and money gotten from the Randy Rankin, I think we'll be even in better shape for future initiatives. Lastly, and David has already touched on this, we have been in contact with Community Foundation of Sarasota, and we look forward to collaborating with them in the future. And I think we all think that if this works, we're going to have a number of pots to take funds out to help support our scholarship efforts. And that is my report. Any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thanks, Fred. I just mentioned that Roland and Linda are also members of SALA. I know because I went to my handy directory to confirm. Thank you, Fred.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, let's go to our committee reports, beginning with arts and culture. I think I saw Willie and or Paul on this morning.
Yes, good.
You slipped into muted. Willie, you're muted. You're muted, Willie.
Am I still muted?
There you go.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you so much. And good morning to everyone. The Arts and Culture Committee continues to be engaged with the arts organizations. And I think you are seeing the fruit of some of this as we continuously to expand the partnership opportunities, as well as increase the number of institutional members as well. Rather than going through the list of things, we just wanted to highlight some of the recent activities and events that's upcoming, especially during the month of April, from our institutional member arts organization. One is the West Coast Black Theater and Broadway in Black. The other one is from Van Wezel, Moortown with a Twist, and Rick Thomas, and the Hermitage Retreat, and their two events that's listed, all as well as number 4, which is one of the new organizations that are joining our ranks, and that's Key Corral. I want to thank Marion for disseminating the information. Hopefully that you're getting the announcements about the offerings, and especially some of those that are offering special discounts. The feedback that we're getting that some of you are taking full advantage of the opportunities here, but all of these are key arts and entertainment events. And this is as a result of the partnership with our institutional members. And as I said, be on the lookout for those from Marion. But there are two other things that we want to, that's not a part of this at this time. One is that and this is with Ringland Museum, I received call from Lois a couple of days ago, asking if we would explore an opportunity to have a special day at Ringland around Eleanor Merritt's exhibition. I think most of you are aware that of that exhibition that exists here, but because of her involvement as one of the founders of the Minnesota chapter, as well as being the first African-American board member for Ringland, she, in concert with David, thought that this would be a good opportunity for us. And she asked if I would reach out to Michelle Young, which I did. And in addition, have also reached out to Mark Smith, who is the director of marketing and communications. And we will definitely be getting back with you once all of the plans for that are finalized, but we think that this would be something quite historic in conjunction with Eleanor's daughter, Dr. Lisa Merritt. And so, as I said, I'll be getting back with you in terms of that. And then lastly is the James Museum of Western and Wildlife Museum. Art, that is, museum that's located in St. Petersburg. Again, I got a call from one of the directors there asking if Asala would partner with them on this historic exhibition that begins in September. And the title of that is Black Pioneers, Legacy of the American West, which explores the path of Black history in the West with a timeline of original quilts created by the women of color quilters. And I understand that there are a couple of our SALA members who are quilters. And this particular exhibition, which starts in September and runs into January, is quite historic. And so you'll be getting more and more information in reference to this as well. Again, if have any particular questions regarding the activities, the arts activities that we have been asked to be engaged with and opportunities there, feel free to contact me immediately. Thank you.
Thanks, Willie. Thank you very much. Let's go to Harriet and our scholarship committee.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Harriet.
I am so excited to hear about the endowment fund being established and getting underway. And I'm thanking in advance on behalf of the scholarship committee for all of those who are starting that and really seeing it through. That is so exciting. Thank you so much. So we're in the process now of finalizing the scoring for our applicants. We have 18 applicants presently. We just finished the last of the interviews and just are blown away by their accomplishments and talents and achievements at such a young age. Some of the schools that these students, for instance, have been accepted to are Yale, Columbia School of Engineering, HBCUs, the Ringling School of Art and Design, state universities all over Florida, and so impressive. Most of them are majoring in STEM, and so they are pursuing careers in medicine and engineering and so forth. So at this point, it was interesting to hear Mr. Latimer talking about the connection between the arts and the science. And one young student who has been accepted to the Ringling School of Art and Design is also interested in majoring in medicinal chemistry and toxicology. So it was a perfect example of how these students are so well-rounded and balanced and interesting. So I think you will all be so impressed when we have our awards ceremony. It'll be May 21st at the library. And you will see these wonderful students. We have a hard job of narrowing down the amounts of money once we find out how much we have and who will be awarded. But I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And by the way, the PowerPoint is on the website. It has been on the website, touting all the accomplishments of these students that Fred referred to. So thank you.
Thank you, Harriet. It's a great report. We're also excited for that May celebration. It's always highlight of our season. Education, Jean and Linda. I know that you're excited
Thank you,
to
David.
report. Thanks.
I'm going to go ahead and start the report, and I'm sure Jean will join in at some point. We want to start by thanking everyone who's been a participant in the Beyond Black History Month presentations. You've been wonderful. There are 2 more coming up for this regular year for us. We have one coming up on April 21st and one coming up on May 19th. There have always been that 3rd Thursday between 4 and 5. And if you miss any, make sure you check out the website because Marion has done a great job in making sure you can access those. We did apply for a new intern through the new college. And if any of you had the opportunity to work with our current intern, Lauren David, she's been amazing. And so I hope that you had a chance to work with her. I hope the new college will fund us again. We put in a great proposal, and let's hope that goes forward. The last thing I want to talk about before turning it over to Jean is that we continue to work with the Equal Justice Institute, and we're partnered with Empowering Our Differences, which should enable us to really do some educational things around the projects that we're working on. So that committee has really been moving forward, doing yeoman's work. And so I'm going to turn it over to Jean, and I think he might talk about his visit to the villages.
I think I'll talk about our visit to the villages. I went there last month and met with Mr. and Mrs. Haynes to develop the way to form a solid chapter in the villages. It was a wonderful presentation to the villages, and long story short, we made a donation. A donation was made to us for $100 to help assist us in our education program. So it's been a great experience and a great endeavor, and I enjoyed it.
All right. Jean and Linda, anything else?
I have nothing else.
Well, let me add, if any of you missed the last Beyond Black History Month, you've missed, once again, a wonderful program. This was our quilters session, and I just continue to encourage you to put that second Thursday, I believe, of every month, third Thursday of every month at 4 in your calendars. It is as good as it gets in terms of capturing our history on an ongoing basis. So thank you, Jean and Linda, and your committee. Good and welfare. I didn't see Bo this morning. I hope he's on. Major Bo, are you on? Marion, can you see Bo in the participant list?
No.
Okay. Then we'll provide any updates in writing in our newsletter to the membership. Some of us were able to attend the services for Ashby Hobson, and were touched by those services and sharing time with his lovely family. Very good. Any new business? Please mute. We've got that noise in the background. Marion, that might be your computer, I think. All right. Any new business?
Can I just say something quickly?
You can, please.
I started doing it. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Boxer. I wanted to first of all, thank you very much for your support for the Jennifer Tiga program we had last Wednesday. I think those people who came found it very moving and emotional. And we have a recording of it, which I just got yesterday, and I will send it to Asala, and I would hope if you ever get a chance to see it, I think you'll find it very interesting. Thank you.
Dan, we'll post that on our website with our other media materials. It was excellent. Jennifer is an interesting story, an interesting life, and a joy to meet. Thanks, Dan. Any other new business? Any old business? Any announcements? Hearing none, we will consider the meeting closed, and I'll open this for some general visiting before we leave.
And you can stop the recording.
David, I have a question.
Please.
It's Fran. You spoke about the endowment and that donations had been made. How do you access that, and when can